Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar. Do you ever have something stuck in your ear that you've been trying to pick out for days at this point? I've got a problem, but you know who else has a problem? Google. Now you might be actually on the internet probably finding out something about, oh my god, the Google leak looks pretty bad. Or you'll find people who are talking about how Google's algorithm has been leaked, their secret algorithm has been exposed. The algorithm leak, 14,000 Google search ranking factors in the biggest leak possible. So again, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I want to skip through the clickbait and the horror real quickly. What we're about to cover is not the most damning leak possible, okay? This is something that if you ever have been in the world of search rankings, SEO, you probably already know some of these things. So Google's documentation ended up being leaked in the last few days, and this is the Google API Content Warehouse version 0.4.0. Now this was leaked onto GitHub, and it basically was leaked there for about a solid week before things were taken down. What you're seeing here is effectively an archive of all that information that anybody can effectively browse through and read. So I'm not going to be spreading this myself just because I believe this documentation is something Google doesn't want to deal with people looking at, so on and so forth. But plenty of channels have already talked about it. I'm going to talk about it just to kind of demystify and explain some of the goofier internet exploration side of things, okay? Now, somebody that's made a lot of videos regarding the deep web and internet content, Google is like a first step for plenty of people. It is the largest search engine in the world. To give you an idea, this is the top websites in the world right now. Number 1 is Google, number 2 is this site, YouTube, and then after this is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Baidu, Wikipedia, Yahoo, Yandex, and then WhatsApp, okay? So to give you an X videos comes right afterwards. Dude, it's actually so crazy is there's more people on the adult website than there are on TikTok and Reddit. Dude, that's crazy. Now, to give an idea, ladies and gentlemen, that makes it where Google is basically a lot of people's first step into the internet. Now, a lot of products you buy, whether it be iPhones, Android devices, most modern OEM enabled computers, probably have Google as the default engine. In fact, a lot of web browsers you download probably have Google as a default engine that you connect to. Now, there's plenty of search engines that are out there, but Google has basically remained one of the top search engines for basically its inception, okay? Plenty of people have come. Bing, DuckDuckGo. Nobody has dethroned Google yet. Now, the way that Google engines work and the way that Google search works is it basically sends a lot of crawlers, a lot of trackers throughout the web, and basically catalogs and archives links upon links upon links, and then it throws that into an algorithm that then ranks those websites into what is most relevant for anybody searching. So for instance, if you want to look up Mutahar, right, it might offer you different Mutahars. I'm not the only person named Mutahar in the world, but if you type in Mutahar Deep Web, it'll then look through its rankings and a whole mirage of data and basically analyze that the Mutahar that their people are searching for is probably the one that runs the YouTube channel Some Ordinary Gamers. And it'll feed you all the relevant information according to it. And you'll probably have to go to page 8 or 9 before Google starts spitting at you all the different Mutahars in the world. But that's how the search engine works. Because for Google, it's ideal that any search engine passes you the most relevant result as a number 1. So that you don't go to Bing or other search engines if you realize Google is actually just dog water to begin with. Now, interestingly enough, Google was asked about this information, and they clarified that the algorithm leaked data is not comprehensive or fully relevant to its current search rankings. The company stated that it is committed to providing accurate information, but will not offer detailed explanations of individual ranking signals. Google also highlighted that its ranking systems change over time, and that it aims to communicate relevant information to the community. And while this is true, this is kind of a fucking PR response in a way as well, because in general, obviously that's what the site is going to say. They're not going to tell you, yeah, our secret sauce is available to be viewed. No, portions of it is out there, but some of it's not really being used, which is kind of true. Obviously, as you develop things, they get thrown into your entire system, and then of course, they get depreciated, you switch things out. Everything that gets leaked is never 100% accurate of the time of the leak. Sometimes it can be years old, sometimes it can be days old, sometimes it could be even weeks old, as it may appear in this situation. So, you guys remember a while back when we looked at that YouTube Peace Score thing from years ago when certain channels had a Peace Score embedded within their actual YouTube code that appeared to basically be like a score for ranking certain channels, right? Certain channels would have a higher score than other channels, and a lot of people collaborated to the more popular and the more respected channels by YouTube were usually given a higher score than a channel that was started maybe like a week ago or a smaller channel in general. So while that was YouTube, something that Google has pretty much been doing since its basic inception is something known as PageRank. And there is a lot of actual educational articles on it. This is actually one from Cornell. So you can actually read, like, we live in a computer era. Internet is part of our everyday lives and information is only a click away. Just open your favorite search engine like Google, Alta Vista, Yahoo. Yeah, this is a little old. Ain't no motherfucker using Yahoo anymore, that's for damn sure. But for instance, it actually describes how the page ranking system works. So one of the actual paragraphs you need to read out of this is modern search engines employ methods of ranking the results to provide the best results first and are more elaborate than just plain text ranking. One of the most known and influential algorithms is the PageRank algorithm used by Google search engine. It was invented by Larry Page and Sergey Brin, who basically owned the parent company of Google, Alphabet, while they were graduate students at Stanford, and it became a Google trademark in 1998. The idea that PageRank brought up was that the importance of any page can be judged by looking at the pages that link to it. If we create a web page I and include a hyperlink to the web page J, this means that we consider J important and relevant to our topic. If there is a lot of pages that link to J, this means that the common belief is that J is important. If, on the other hand, J only has one backlink, and that comes from an authoritative site K, which authoritative means, websites that are typically large and more recognized like Google, CNN, or Cornell.edu, we say that K transfers its authority to J. In other words, K asserts that J is important. Whether we talk about popularity or authority, we can iteratively assign a rank to each page based on the ranks of the pages that point to it. So generally speaking, if you look for, I guess, any topic on the internet, let's say you look for aliens, for instance, right? What Google's ranking is going to do is it's going to most likely grab, the most relevant and the most, authority leading rank or search that it can find. And the best way to describe it is like, let's say that there's like fucking 10 pages of aliens, right? You make an alien website and all of a sudden you've got, CNN, Fox, some of the big iconic mainstream established websites are linking to it. Your page is probably going to be more relevant than like some spooky like 1999 web forum that is still active somewhere deep on the internet. That's kind of how these systems work. And this builds the entire backbone of an industry called search engine optimization, or SEO. So the actual information that ended up being leaked actually is apparently mostly API calls of things that people understand. So inside the Google API Content Warehouse, they do talk about things like nav boost and things like good clicks. So if you actually look into it, you can see that attributes here are clicks bad, clicks for images, clicks and totals, and of course, this is all information. These are all flags that Google is calculating to attribute what website ranks over the other. And that's how this entire situation tends to work. Now, obviously, there are over 10,000 something calls, so it's not as easy to just look through this information and come up with what is conclusive. But this does shed some light on what Google systems are running, okay? How they calculate and what they use to effectively run in their algorithm. What they're looking for is mentioned in this situation. So there's actually a really good write-up by a person known as Patrick Stocks, who basically works in the same field. And I guess I'm going to read a few excerpts from his research as well that I think almost like mirror exactly what I've been looking at as well. So when it came to those clicks that we just discussed, he basically writes, are clicks used in rankings? Well, yes and no. We know that Google uses clicks for things like personalization, timely events, testing, feedback. We know that they have models upon models trained on the click data, including nav boost. But that is directly accessing the click data and being used in rankings. Nothing I saw confirms it, and nothing I saw actually confirms it either. So as far as they know, there is nothing to confirm that it takes into account the click data of individual pages to reorder results, or that if you get more people to click on your results, that your rankings would go up. So it appears that, there is no actual proven method that you can somehow artificially increase yourself in Google's rankings. So this should be easy enough to prove if that was the case. I've tried many times. It tried it years ago using the Tor network. My friend Russ Jones tried it using residential proxies. They couldn't just self-gasp themselves up in the actual algorithm. So there's plenty of checks and balances for it. So when asked, is Google lying to us? What I do disagree with wholeheartedly is SEOs being angry with the Google search advocates and calling them liars. They're nice people who are just doing their job. If they told us something wrong, it's likely because they don't know they were misinformed or they've been instructed to obfuscate something to prevent abuse. They don't deserve the hate that the community right now is giving them. Like all things, there is obviously drama attached to this. The SEOs their entire job is to optimize pages for the algorithm, they're the ones that are basically getting into online spats with actual engineers and people that are representing Google right now. And I don't think any of that is okay. All this shit is incredibly complicated. I doubt that even people who work at Google actually understand how their system truly works. It is that large of a system at this point. Like, I doubt that there's even plenty of people that are working at Google's actual algorithm that can probably truly explain to you the quality nav-boast craps click signals, okay? Click impression signals for craps. All the crappy signals are getting filtered out, boyos. So obviously, while this stuff has kind of been leaked out, all of the stuff that I've read doesn't necessarily amount to anything anybody in this field doesn't really know anything about. So I guess the best way to kind of cover it is for people who are in SEO, like optimizing websites to be at the forefront of any search result, this kind of documentation is important to look through. But anybody that operates in this field, like in the field of SEO, none of this stuff is truly earth-shattering information. I guess a great analog is if you're somebody that is a YouTuber by any chance, you probably understand the importance of having a good title and a good thumbnail. Obviously, having a good title or description, tags, a thumbnail is the actual way for you to get into a search ranking. So if somebody searches up a specific topic, as a YouTuber, you want to be at the top of the search results. And typically, the only way to do that is by actually using your metadata. If you ever get annoyed by clickbait, that's unfortunately the world of YouTube we live in. For people who don't title their stuff properly, it is the difference between having your video go into the recommendations algorithm or not. And for a lot of people on the internet where Google still controls, to this day, 90% of the search market engine, yes, that is 90.8% of the internet search market belongs directly to Google. For people, finding the tiniest advantage is the most important. Now, you might be wondering, well, Muda, why doesn't Google actually, be honest about it? Why does this stuff have to be leaked? And why is Google so secretive? Is there a reason behind it? Could they be censoring stuff without letting you know? The reality of it is, obviously, any search engine can manipulate stuff. But it's actually not in the benefit that Google manipulates things for you. They actually would love if you get access to exactly the information you aim and want to seek. But the reality is, if they were very honest about what their algorithm was and how to actually use it and manipulate it, immediately, within the millisecond that they would do that, all the scammers, spammers, scumbags would effectively rush in and ruin the search engine right there. There's a reason why this is more secretive than the Krabby Patty secret formula, and that's literally because for the sanctity of this thing to function the way that most people expect it to, it has to remain a very close, tightly guarded secret. So no, this algorithm leak isn't exactly the end-all be-all, nor is it, in my opinion, even close to being something that, is a massive expose for Google. It is technically a leak, but I think for Google's sake and for the health of the search engine, a lot of that stuff has remained secretive. It does, however, shed some light on how Google factors in multiple hundreds, if not thousands of data points into creating an actual proper search experience. Now, hopefully if they keep AI and shit out of it, that'll be the best secret sauce right there. But yeah, technically the Google algorithm has been leaked out, but I wanted to talk about it and really discuss exactly what it was about. So hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you figure out what goes behind your search engine and how it actually gives you relevant results for whatever it is that you're looking for on the internet. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.